Please hold while I check my settings so I don't ramble into a microphone that is off. Excellent. Okay. Wonderful. Alright, so I know I said in Log 31 that I didn't want to have these videos go on for too long. I didn't want to ramble. However, a lot happened today. A lot of good and a lot of bad. So I feel like, just saying it now, this might be a longer video. But I don't want this to be rambly. Like, it can be more lengthy and also organized. So, let's get down to business. It is Log 32. It is February 24th, and it's 9:15 p.m. That's right. It's kinda early in the night again, because I really liked not having to do the log just before I went to bed last night. It felt very much more like, okay, pajamas, laptop closed, window closed. Locked and sealed, no work the rest of the night. It was very much more of like it felt more final. It was a barrier. So as much as I would love to include what I do tonight as part of the log, I won't. Because boundaries, work-life boundaries, are more important, and peace of mind is essential. So, let's take things slow here, because taking things a little slower, I'm coming to learn, means that things are more practiced and organized and calm, and there's less stuttering and jumping around, although I know I can't refuse a good tangent. Oh, it's stories within stories, they're side quests, they're so fun. This is one now, actually. I just finished editing Log 31, and it took me 3 different tries to continue one story, because I kept getting reminded of other things. Okay, so what do we talk about first? Right, it is 9:17. I like doing this earlier. Also because I think I have more energy, and I have different outfits. So, you know, it breaks up the visual a little bit. Speaking of breaking up the visual, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. Yay! Yeah. No other real significance to that. I can't wait because this feels a little too long. Granted, if you haven't been following my account for a while on Instagram or anything, I've had long hair my entire life. Like, as soon as I could grow it long, it stayed that way. Until less than a year ago. Actually, we're just in a month, we'll be coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the chop. Yeah, it lined up with my excellent character development and emotional journey and all of that stuff. Granted, that was in the beginning. I had no idea what was in store. Oh my gosh, 2025 was an adventure. It was a roller coaster of high highs and low lows. I would not want to go through it again, but I'm very happy it happened, because now we're here. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this short. And I love short hair, actually. It's great and wonderful, and I don't see myself getting long hair again in a long time. But I think I'm itching for a little more of a style upgrade. We're starting to get a little more into the collared shirts and the formal stuff. This is an older sweater. And part of the, one of the tasks in week 4 told you to donate or give away or pass down one low self-worth outfit. And I had 2 sweaters that were from the high school days, that were from before freshman year of college, that were nice. Nothing wrong with them. I had them for a while, and high school was not a great time for me. No, it was not. So there's still bad vibes attached to them. So it felt bittersweet letting them go, because I like the colors, they're striped and they're fun, and they're comfortable. But they're not comfortable emotionally. And I'm starting to learn that that's important. So those are going away, and now it's like, okay, there's an opening. So I'm kind of a little motivated to, try and reinvent my style. I was never really into that at all. I was very anti-shopping and fashion and everything cosmetic for most of my life. Still kind of resisting it, but that's kind of out of stubbornness now, I think, or just, well, if we want to be real, now it's probably just because I don't value myself enough. I don't think I'm worth, spending time figuring out what I like and spending money on what I like. But we are also learning that that doesn't have to be so. Okay, yeah. No, I personally, as part of visual storytelling, which I am recording an online course for, I love when character designs change based on their character arcs. I'm talking the haircuts, I'm talking the style changes, I'm talking scars, tattoos, all that stuff. Just visual markings of living a life and going through journeys. Ooh, I love them. Which is why I can't wait to get more into the Miraculous comic, and those costume designs are going to be changing with their emotional journeys, and it's going to be so juicy. That was the first tension of the night, and that was not even related to anything I wanted to say tonight. Alright. Lovely. I mean, it's true. I am thinking that. But that's not necessarily related to what we're trying to say now. What we are trying to say now is today was Tuesday, but it was kind of the equivalent of a Monday because yesterday was a snow day. So today was the first day of the week of getting back into classes, back on the other side of campus. And the day started out great. I woke up at 6:30. Can you imagine that, right? I actually went to bed last night. I mean, I had planned to go to sleep at 11. Went to bed around 12:30, but that's still much better than most of my nights. And I woke up at 6:30 because I had a Zoom call at 7. And I had an 8 a.m. after that, so I wasn't going to go back to bed. And it was a professional Zoom call. It was about the online course, actually, because I'm partnering with a third-party program. And so, I had to, look presentable. I had to brush my hair, put in contacts, wear not pajamas. And I was greatly rewarded for that. There was I think I got a little bit of a promotion there. Something good happened. I don't fully understand what because I was still kind of half asleep, but I'll learn more about that on Thursday. Yes, and then I stayed awake, I did my morning pages, and by the time 8 o'clock rolled around, I wasn't fully done with my morning pages. But I did not cut that train of thought off. No, sir. I put myself before my class. And I finished the morning pages, and I joined class late, and you know what? I suffered no consequences. Valuing myself just that little bit, I think, is just another tally in the chart of I'm important versus I'm less important than my work. So lovely. And I got a little bit of a spotlight in my class this morning because we were talking about artist Instagrams, and my professor kind of singled me out, which it's fun. It's fun. I'm starting to learn that I really don't hate public speaking as much as I thought I did. I mean, I never really had stage fright or social anxiety or anything like that. I just started to believe more and more that no one wanted to listen to me and that I shouldn't bother through years of lovely social interactions and lovely small town gossip and cattery and good stuff that I'm glad to be away from. So I'm just very glad to feel like I'm really coming into my own, and yeah, as we can tell from this and from a few tasks today, and tasks throughout the book recently that have been asking you to dig up in another life, what would you want to do? And a lot of my, dreams, wishes, whatever, hypothetical other hobbies if I had the time and qualifications and, on occasion, money and connections. I want to perform. Like, band, music, singing, on occasion comedy, streaming, acting, voice acting. I'm a performer at heart. I always thought I'd be on the sidelines, in the shadows, being a little backstage, sneaky, holding the strings while everyone else does the thing. No, I want to be on the stage. And it makes total sense. I always have been. My, preschool dance recital, I was the only kid paying attention on stage and remembering the dance moves. Yeah, so I am learning more about myself. It's not necessarily what I expected, because I don't know if I'll ever find the opportunity to pursue something like that, or if I'll be any good. But I've come to accept that truth, that yeah, I want to perform. I want to put on a show. More than just cartoons and animation and stuff, so yeah. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? We were talking throughout my day because there were important things. I'm not just talking about my day to talk about it. Yes, what did I do after that? After that, let's see, I actually walked over to the other side of campus. Yes, and that is when the bad stuff began to happen. Because I have a feeling it's just because the other side of campus environment, I've just overworked myself in the same couple buildings for about 3 years now. So, there's a lot of habits, a lot of, vibes attached to the buildings and stuff, and, they're educational buildings, so it's all studious and stuff. And it felt so hard to just eat breakfast without multitasking, or to just sit still and not plan what I'm gonna do next, or yeah, it felt wrong to just sit there. It felt like I compulsively had to do something. And that was not restful or relaxing. And I think I started to lose a sense of the time and the timers a little bit. I wasn't sure if a certain time was rest or work. And I started to work on a personal project, which was so fun, by the way. Oh my gosh. The 3D animation I made a couple days ago, right? I've had some time with it. The workload for that class has been pretty slow, thankfully, because I don't have Maya on my computer here. So I'd rather not pay for that or walk across campus to work in the lab. But my point is, I made it, and it's been a while, and I have that video now on my phone. I can get that video from my phone to my iPad, where I have Procreate Dreams. And I love Arcane and the style of the Sony style that's been going around. That delicious 2D, 3D mix, the K-pop Demon Hunters, Spider-Verse, stuff like that. So I tried my hand at a little 2D VFX. I'll probably add some sound effects later tonight or tomorrow morning. Either way, by the time I'm editing this, it'll have sound effects as well. So I just dressed that thing up, and it was really fun. I did finish the VFX on time, and I did blow past my timer. I did not stop after an hour. And I think that kind of broke my trust in myself for the day. So once that barrier was broken, my whole timer structure just fell apart for the day. And after my second class, at around 2, I was adrift in workaholic space again. And I was like, dang, I did so well yesterday. Why am I taking steps back? Which, I mean, yes, one day, it's not a lot of progress. Obviously, that's a peak, and I'll have to bring the average up eventually. But it was just annoying, because I know I was so zen yesterday. It was so lovely. And I mean, I tried to go for a walk halfway through in the snow, and that was nice. But then I was walking too fast. I was going too fast the whole day. I really didn't slow down. I mean, and when I say that, I mean if I sat still, I saw my hands shaking. Granted, that might have also been because I had coffee on an empty stomach, which is bad for me. I have fast metabolism, I'm very sensitive to caffeine, so if I have coffee on too much of an empty stomach, my body will let me know. But either way, the whole day, I had the feeling of my throat being tight. Like my heart in my throat, and it's tight, and it just felt... what's the word? Staunched? It just felt like I knew there was potential to be highly effective and relaxed, but I just wasn't hitting it. So it was like someone was stuffing a sock in a tuba. It was like the flow is plugged, it's stopped, it's blocked, and the pressure is just building and building. And I also, I had a very solitary day. I didn't talk to anyone until 8? Until I got back. Which, I mean, usually I don't mind too much, but like, especially when I'm stressing out and I need like a reality check, just being alone with my thoughts is not great, because I don't have, you know, someone to snap me out of it. But yes, after class and such, I went to the studio. I went to Westby, and by this point, I had no idea if it was work time or playtime. I was like, okay, I don't know. I just know that I have a set time limit for painting. 1 hour. Which is, yeah, I started it the last time I painted because it worked really well, and it stopped me just before I started overworking things. So I was like, okay. I was stressed. My head was foggy. I wasn't really thinking straight. I was scared I was going to mess up the painting because I wasn't in the right headspace or something. But I just got my supplies out. I put my coat down on a chair. And I just started the action before I could overthink it. And I didn't exactly, you know, completely get relaxed or whatever, but I painted for an hour, and it was tough to stop. It was tough because I always think, oh, I could just do a little more if I take a step back and I stare at it. But after a certain point, I just stare at what I need to fix. I don't stare at the image. I lose the vision and I just start getting nitpickier and nitpickier. So, hit the 1 hour mark at 6, and I just packed up my supplies without looking at the painting at all. I was like, alright, that's it. It's done. So for like a minute, I didn't look at it. And then after that, I think I let the canvas cool down for a sec, walked to the far end of the room, did a little reveal for myself. Alright, let's see how it looks. Turned around, and it did not look too bad. Ooh. It was... Okay, this is gonna sound a little weird, but bear with me. The best analogy I can think of is a newborn baby, right? Let's be real. When they're just born, they look like aliens. They look really weird. So you look at it at first and it's like, what was that supposed to be? But then you take a second and you're like, wait, that's mine. I made that and it's beautiful and I actually love it. And then like, yeah, that 2 seconds of apprehension blinks away and you're like, oh, I made it. Because the act feels done and it's like, okay, that's it. This is what we have right now. And, oh, I was so proud of it. I mean, it's not done. There's still things I'll come back to later with fresh eyes and stuff. But I was taking pictures of it, and it was hard to walk away from it just because I wanted to keep looking at it. I didn't want to leave it in my cubby and shut the door for the night. It was like I was leaving my little creation. But I was happy about that. And then, on a whim, I tried to go to the Science Hall Observatory. Yeah, so I'm trying new things. It's getting a lot easier to step outside of my comfort zone, which is nice. Just go on little solo trips with myself. I didn't bother asking anyone. I was just like, alright, I'll see what's up. Granted, I have done that. That's not really like a new thing for me, but it felt easier. But they were closed, actually, because apparently the observatory doesn't have a roof. So the snow might be affecting that. So I just walked upstairs and walked downstairs. The stairwell was really creepy, actually. It felt like the back rooms. It was very yellow and quiet, and there were no windows. And there was a really weird looking light on each floor. It felt very much like the back rooms. Yes. So that was the day. Alright? Yes. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was the book, because this is day 1 of week 5. Woo! Which is recovering a sense of possibility. So, as it goes, I thought it was going to mean one thing. Turns out it means the other thing. And the other thing I could really use. So, I assumed it was going to be like, you can do it, like encouragement, like anything is possible. Stuff like that. But the biggest thing that stuck with me, because I read through the whole thing today, it was a short chapter. It was talking about virtue trapping, which basically means how artists can become blocked by being people pleasers and using other people's needs as reasons to forfeit their own. Self-abandonment, self-neglect, which is the name of my game. Ooh! Personally, I am an eldest daughter. So any other eldest daughters out there, you know the deal. I'm this eldest child in general, but I feel like it usually is more extreme for a daughter. There are always exceptions, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll be rereading that chapter a couple times because I think that's very useful and I would love to soak that into my brain. But there were a few exercises that I did today that I will talk about for a quick sec. Let's see, the first one, if I remember right, was Forbidden Joys. So you just make a list of things that you would like to do and that you love to do them. Like you know you do love them, but you're not allowed to. So yeah, I wrote down about 10 things, and then I did not expect the next sentence at the end of the page to say, okay, take that list, tape it to your wall where you'll see it often. And that was surprising. I mean, I should have seen it coming, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to write that because I wrote it in the book, so I have to write it again and tape it to my wall. I will see all of the forbidden, secret things that I like to do. And yeah, surprise, surprise, they involve like singing, dancing, acting, voice acting, all that stuff, and baking. And then it said, you know, oh, consider taking steps towards some of these things, you know. And I will, perhaps. And there were a bunch of complete the sentence things again. You just had to write, I wish, I wish blank. And you had to write something 20 times. So that was also interesting. It really just kind of brought out all of the things that you think you shouldn't want to do. So yeah, just that kind of possibility. Like, the impossible things that you think you shouldn't be able to do or you won't do, they are possible. And that was a little bit of a shift for me, I guess, because I do have a little collection of secret things that I would like to do in my pocket that are just like little dreams that I've already kind of resigned on. It's like, oh, yeah, a treehouse would be cool. Or yeah, you know, learning how to bake would be cool. But I've already given up on them. They've already been placed into the never gonna happen category. So, just thinking for a second that maybe one day in my life I will go hang gliding. That was like oh. It made me rethink what I dream about, I guess. I don't know. It felt very exposing. I think that was all. You know, there was one other thing. It was a personal quiz. Like, are you self-destructive? That was the word. Are you self-destructive? And it was like 10 questions, I think. And it was like, I don't remember them off the top of my head. But it was like, I feel guilty when blank. Or I da-da-da when blank, you know. And the big hypothesis, conclusion that kind of rose to the surface at the end of all of these tasks is that I have a very strong limiting belief that I and the things that I do they're not important. Like me as a person, my interactions, they will always be lesser than everyone else. My work, as ridiculous as it sounds, even though I have, what, 270? Hold up. I don't need to check that. A big number. 100-something thousand followers on Instagram. 300,000. 7. On Instagram. That is somehow still not relevant. It's not important. I don't think I'm important enough to cook a real fancy dinner, or to buy new sweaters, or to feel like I can take up space. To feel like I can block out some of the time of my day for projects, personal projects, that just I want to do. I mean, I've kind of known this for a little bit, but I think spelling it out today might help. Starting to see my words as carrying more weight, because they do. This is the rule of the world. Everyone has equal value. Every life is important. So that should also apply to me, I think. And I am having more days where I do believe that. But I'd like that to get up to 100% days. Maybe even 90. 95. 98. No, I should feel important every day. That's kind of the thing. That's important. I believe that's all I had to say, except for my phone. So this was the first day out of week 4, out of the reading deprivation, and I didn't want to binge. I didn't want to go crazy, because it's like, oh, I can watch all the YouTube videos I've been saving up, because there have been a few that I really want to watch. There was a 5-hour editing tutorial for DaVinci Resolve, which is what I use to make these, and I would love to get my hands on that. And some more videos about like Miraculous and all that stuff. I had some stuff saved up. But I didn't want to watch too much, and watching videos in the middle of the day still felt wrong. So instead, I went back to my old habit of switching back and forth between apps and checking notifications on that, checking notifications on that. I didn't do it too much, but I definitely felt the difference. And I might just go back to using my phone as little as possible, because it did have a negative effect on my day. I felt like I had less control over my free time, because that thing was just always there, tempting me, baiting me with its stupid reels. I will be spending less time doing that, and more time watching shows. I've had a few movies lined up that I've been wanting to watch for a while. And the book! I can read the book now! Ooh, that's gonna be fun. And there's one other thing I wanted to say. I thought of it a second ago, but then I lost it. I remember. I was thinking a little more on the Miraculous comic today because I was starting to slip back into, oh, I really want to do it, I want to do it. But when the time comes to actually draw the next panel, open up that folder in my iPad, there's a resistance, there's a backing away of sorts. And I think it's because I'm already preemptively thinking of posting it. That's been happening a lot with just art in general, all of my pieces. I've started to really think more about posting, wondering what the comments are. First off, as a part of the reading deprivation, I stopped reading comments on the YouTube videos that I use for workouts and stuff. And that has been surprisingly nice. But the point is, I think I might, I don't know if I will or not, but at least telling myself that I won't post another Miraculous episode until I'm 3 new episodes in has kind of helped, because it feels less like a product and more like a chapter in a personal story. It's just another little building block. There's no thousands of fans waiting, you know, nipping at my heels. And that backlog might also give me some nice breathing room. Because when I finish a piece, I really want to share it. I love sharing my art when I'm done. The problem happens when there's expectations. And then all of a sudden, it's not just about me anymore, it's about pleasing them. And I become a perfectionist, and I become detail-oriented, and things get stiff, and things don't look right, and I get overcritical, and it's just a bad scene. So how do I not think of it as a product, even though I know I will eventually post it? I don't know. For now, I'm just gonna keep convincing myself that I won't post it. Totally. Even though I should be building trust in myself and not lying to myself to get comics out. Meepon. My best friend. I make it for us. There we go. She's my anchor. That's how it was in the beginning, I think. And also maybe just scribbling out storyboards of each panel. So something's down, I know I'll fix it later because I'll want to, but just getting things out. Restraining the perfectionist urges to not move on until I'm satisfied with a panel. That has been the name of the game recently, also with the timers. Just restraining the compulsive need to finish the work or leave it the best it can be. I can just do a little bit of effort. It's possible. Believe it or not. So, let's see how long I've been talking, shall we? Wow, 38 minutes. Okay, that's a new high. Alright, well, you were prepared, at least this time. Double checking that my microphone is working. Okay, it is. Okay. One last thing, I swear. This is part of the book, alright, so it's relevant. One of the tasks, because I did read ahead, all 10 this time, to make sure that I'm not going to be missing out on things it wants me to do every week, and good thing I did, because this one's a weekly thing. It recommends an addition to the morning pages this week, or ongoing, if I so choose, to ask some questions the night before. Before I go to bed, just write down some things I'm wondering about, some things that I wish I knew the answers to, or things I'm frustrated by or confused by. Sleep on it, and then write about what I think in the morning. I feel like that's going to be pretty effective. Just allowing some questions to be said and to let them sit. Alright, that's it. That is it, I believe. And oh my gosh, it's... I have been talking for a while. It's almost 10 p.m. And if I want to keep waking up early, I'm going to have 2 hours to myself, which is not a lot. for all I want to do. But we value sleep, we value taking care of ourselves, and we value pajamas. So, on that note, this is Momo with long-ish hair, signing off.